This game is absolutely amazing. You are in for a treat if you have picked up Quasimorph. Of course, 1.0 just launched a bit ago, and man, I've had a blast playing this game. Let me tell you, by the way, Soul here, but yeah, let's get right into it. You can see right here, this is our ship, his Magnum, HIS Magnum. Anyways, love the jokes. You can see that we're in a constant state of time. It's moving forward, it's progressing, and that's important in the game of Quasimorph for quite a few reasons. I'm going to give you a couple things that you can use as a staging point to start your gameplay and some key facts and tips to take into consideration as you start. Now, this game throws you in, guys. It will give you a tutorial battle. I highly suggest you do it after you watch your cutscene. And yeah, once you're at this point after your battle, you're going to have some questions. Now, of course, you can see quite a few things. Spacecraft being number one. Of course, she gives you a nice little rundown on it. Nothing too crazy, talking about the different compartments. But that's what you got here, guys. Different compartments. I highly urge you to click on the ones that you can, which you're going to start. Supply, upgrade. You're going to click on this. Can you upgrade? Yes, you can. And so now this is going to allow you to craft. Everybody gets that. That's how you start the game. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you look at the next line, because it's like a tech tree, you can see what's required and what it does. It tells you what it gives you. It tells you what is required. And you can see right there, you need a gun bang magazine and an ore cargo for this upgrade. And then, of course, you can highlight all of them, and you can see what you need moving forward. This is a good baseline of understanding of your progression. Make sure you go through these and read. See what you like about it. Automatically disassembles items into components with a 100% chance of obtaining materials. Nice. There's a lot of different things in here, and it really is useful to highlight and look at them. Now, of course, that's just one compartment. Make sure you go and look at all of them. Of course, you have cloning. You're going to click upgrade. You're going to go look, and it shows you what you need as a base. And you're going to want to kind of keep those things in mind. You can find these things, I'm going to say in raid. I'm a Tarkov player. You can find these things in raid, so you want to make sure that you're always keeping an eye out and picking up what you need as you progress. It will definitely make your gameplay better and will allow you to progress and become stronger. But strength is a big deal, guys. This game does not really warn you. It wants you to fail. And so let's talk a little bit about that. We have right here a mission available. This is the first mission available. Hypnos 2, okay, is the colony. And when you look at it and highlight it, you can see right here the mission is elimination. There are 3 different types of missions, guys. Of course, those missions being conquest/defense, espionage/sabotage, and then, of course, elimination. Notice the slash in that. When we highlight this mission, it shows 2 different factions at basically war or conflict within each other, and then, or corporations as they're called in the game. And then, of course, you can see that there's an elimination and then there's an escort. You can take this mission and you can choose which side to take in this mission, but you cannot choose both sides in the mission. Why does that matter? Well, you can see that there is a reward given. They are different per one. We can see right down here it says Realware TL1, tier level 1. They're offering 1,400, whereas the other is only offering 895. Escorting is a lot harder than eliminating, so just bear that in mind. You have to keep the person alive when they go with you. There's a lot to it. Regardless, you can see it shows you how many floors there are. It tells you the number of rooms that you'll be encountering, and then there's a concentration. That's your power. That's what you really need to pay attention to. The skulls can be deceptive. That's an obvious outlier of how difficult the missions are, but they can be deceptive. When you look at the concentration, that's what you're really worried about. The higher that number, the higher the strength your enemies have while you're fighting them. And let me tell you, it can get really crazy, really fast. Scary, in fact. So you want to make sure that you're trying to be careful in what you're doing. When you choose a different mission, which we're going to come over here, you can see stock market. Boom. These are all the corporations at play. And when you click each one, you can see what contracts they're offering, both aggressively and defensively. You can also see right here their faction assets, which tells you basically how many bases they have. You can see right here their faction power, which is 1622. Then you can see their faction tech, what level it is. You can see your relations with the faction, and it tells you what's going on, what kind of benefits you get, you name it. And then of course there's faction diplomacy. That's not for this video, that's for another time. But regardless, there's some really interesting details and stuff in here to bear in mind. Now know this, when the faction's assets are dropped down to 0, they automatically reset and go to a power of 200, and you won't be able to accept missions from them. I don't think that's permanent, but regardless, that's something to take a note. You can destroy a faction and totally undo it. Now, how do you know which faction you want to work for? Because when you work for a faction, you strengthen it. But when you work against a faction, you weaken it. So you need to make sure you're paying attention. I've seen where people said, go work only for a few factions and focus on them. And then I've seen where people said, don't do that. You're just going to make them really strong. And then when you work against them, they're going to be unbelievable. Guys, this is where I personally think you just got to crash it out. You got to go in, you got to die, you got to play the game, figure out which one you prefer, and go that route. However, there is something to be aware of that might help you. And let's talk about the benefits of working for each faction. If you go down right here, you can of course click info, and it tells you a little bit about them. You can pick your favorites, you can play for the ones you like, that's all fine. But when you click technology, let's be honest, this is what really matters. You see the rewards you get from completing their missions, with the percentage chance right here of you getting those rewards. And you can get duplicates and things like that. It's really, really good. You can get class chips, all kinds of stuff, clone chips, you name it. We'll get into that in a minute. These things are incredibly valuable. But you can scroll all the way down and you can see just what all they're offering at the highest levels. That's what you're working towards. That's what you want to keep in mind as you're doing these missions and going through the game. You want to bear in mind that some factions have better rewards than others. Let's take a look at the resistance here. Their technology. You might not like these things. You might not even know what they are. That's fine. But you might look at them and go, that's an ugly armor set. That's fine. You get to play the game however you want. You might decide this is the best corporation there is, and you want to work for them. That's also fine. It's up to you guys. Make sure you take your time, click on each one, and just look through them. Read, see what's going on. There's a really good chance if you're watching this video and you just started, you're going to be gated, and you're going to be trying to figure out the beginning of the game, and it's going to be tough. I'm going to tell you something. ANCOM, in my opinion, is a fun one to choose. Now you can see right here, this gun, you're not going to get access to this gun in too many other ways, and you're not going to be able to make this ammo, but I really, really like these data miners. These things make it really useful. Go into a map, you can use them, and it kind of gives you the layout of the map. It really streamlines your effort when you're playing the game. That's all I'll say. There's lots of different ones. Don't just jump into ANCOM because I said that. There's lots of different ones that have really good incentives and really good rewards to start. It's really important that you get your recipes unlocked so you can craft. It's really important that you get access to, you find your favorite gun and different things, and you really pursue those. Like first aid kits are really, really powerful and useful in the game. So take your time, guys. Look through this, read, see which one you like the most, and go from there and make your decisions wisely. But as I said, I'm going to repeat it again. As you choose a contract and do the work for said corporation, you're strengthening them, guys, making them stronger, which that's what these values are here on the side. And of course, you have a face denoting how your reputation is with them. As they become stronger, other factions will become weaker in turn, and you will ultimately be making them harder to go against later, which eventually you will, because you'll want everybody's faction maxed out and this, that, and the third in order to progress your game and to, really pursue the storyline, which is insanely difficult, by the way. You can see right here you have lots of different supplies and their different values and the things that they've got going on. You won't really mess with this too much at the beginning of the game at all. Maybe you do. In my opinion, you won't. You're really gonna be grinding. You're gonna really be losing a bunch of stuff before you really get anything, which is all right here in the Magnum PMC, where that shows you the missions completed, humans killed, Quasimorphs killed, Barons killed, deaths, allies killed, chips unlocked, you name it. That's the big one you really want. You want chips unlocked. You want to start gathering resources, and yeah, that's everything there on that. Now let's look at the spacecraft. We can click this craft right here. Of course, she'll tell you a little about it. These are your basic crafts that you start in the game. You can see what they require for you to get in order to craft them. And then each craft, which like, let's look at the sorbet. Sorbet's really good. It reduces your calories, but it takes away infection, poisoning, and then alcoholism. This is really useful, guys, especially for that infection, because you're going to be bandaging, medding, using rags, all kinds of things to patch wounds. And you're going to pick up infection, and you want to make sure you clear these out. This is a free craft, and then of course when you click it, it's going to automatically toggle the max that you can craft. With this, there's no harm in it. You click Start Craft, and there you go. It's going to take 10 hours to complete. Let's back on out. And you can see time is progressing slowly right here. 2206, 2207, 200. Got me. You can increase that time by times 25, times 100, and times 250. There you go. Sorbent is now done. And so you go back in here. You can choose to craft something else. You can choose to grab something else. You name it. As you're playing the game and dying a lot, which you will. There's just no two ways about it. You're going to figure out what's important to you, what matters, and you're going to more or less pursue those things and go after them. I spoke a falsehood right there. You can't craft the 42 bullets right away. My bad. Anyways, yeah. So you're going to want to make sure you take a note of what you can craft in here. Like I said, first aid kits are insanely good. So you're going to want to hoard cloth and plastic, so that way you can get these things crafted. If you come across some rotten flesh, they're a little harder to find. But yeah, long story boring. You're going to want to do that. Now, you can see right here with a little bit of plastic, you can make some food. This is a big deal. Your guys will deplete calories really fast in these missions. So you want to make sure that you're crafting a little bit of food and you're keeping them on hand in missions. But that is a just really quick breakdown of the crafting. Now, when we look at operators, you're going to be choosing these when you go into mission. These are your clones, guys. These are the people that you can use when you go in and fight. And yeah, you're going to have several to start. And I'm not going to really go through and tell you which ones to use and how to use them. All I will say is that if you've got Percy right here, Percy is heavily resistant to damage. So this is a good melee short range option. And then Victoria is highly susceptible to damage, but has pretty good sight range of 10. Whereas Percy, she has really good accuracy and decent dodge. Percy does not have great accuracy. They both have 10 sight range. But my point is that Victoria does a really good job at range, whereas Percy does a really good job in close quarters combat. So read through them, check them out, make sure you got what you like. Of course, you can go through and click each one. You can mess with their loadout, see what you want to do, what you want to put on. You have all these things in the cargo hold, and that's the next thing we're going to take a look at, which is the cargo hold. And so this is where your goods, parts, and other things are right there in tab 1. All this stuff just gets thrown in here, guys. It just gets lobbed in here. As you're going through, you're going to accrue more. You can sort it very easily. Just click that sort button. And then, yeah, you're going to decide what you like in the game, what you don't like. And you're going to, honestly, you're going to probably pursue those things and pick up more of them and whatnot. One thing I will tell you right off the bat is do not be too covetous. Don't covet all your loot. You're not going to be able to keep it all, guys. Loot will get you killed in this game. The more loot you're carrying, the less your dodge chances. And yeah, just to keep it light. Grab a few things here and there and move right on through. If you see a ton of loot on the ground and you think you got tons of time to loot it all, don't kid yourself. Don't get overzealous. Every time I've always regretted it. Don't do it. Just move right on. Grab what you can and scoot and be grateful you got out with what you did. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, that's your cargo hold. And then as I said, you can go through, you can pick your operators, and you can go ahead and get them dressed and do what you want. You just click and drag, put it on, and you'll be getting set to go. Now, you can see right here, you got a vest slot. We don't have a vest on, but you could put a vest on. When you highlight the vest, you can see right here, we got a condition that shows its health, max, and then of course what it currently is. And then it shows vest. Like, we're looking at vest first on purpose, by the way, guys. Vest size says 2. So when we put this on, of course, it's got a resistance, by the way. That's something else to take into consideration we'll look at in a minute. Now we have 2 vest slots. Now, vest slots are really, really good because it makes it easier for your guy to reload. Boom. Put that ammo in there, and bazinga. Now when you reload, it's going to be a little bit easier, and yeah, versus in your pockets, it's going to be a little bit harder to reload. Just something to bear in mind there. One thing I want to say is I want to make sure I clarify this. When you're putting ammo in this slot, if the vest doesn't give you an AP bonus for the reload, it won't matter. See what this vest, let's see, click, click, click. This vest does not say anything about minus AP. You'll see that on other vests. So this, putting the ammo in there is irrelevant. However, you can put grenades in there and use them from your vest very easily. Whereas if they're in your bag, you're not able to use them. You're going to have to equip them in this vest slot in order to utilize them. So, but when you find the vest that says minus AP for reloads, you put the ammo in there and you get that bonus. Very good stuff right there. With that said, taking a look at what's next, let's look at the armors. Now, of course, you have a headpiece, a body piece, a leg piece, and then toesies. When you're looking at the headpiece, all of them, really, you're looking at the resistances, guys. You can see right here, you've got a list down here, and it says overall resistance is a 7, but then it shows everything down below. Do not get duped when you highlight them and you think, oh, this one's got a resistance of 48, but this one's got a resistance of 12. It's just better, period, dot. It's not quite the case. Having more resistances is good, but if you go into a match with heavy radiation resistance and you're fighting blunted and sharp and piercing items, or even fire attacks, that's not going to do anything for you. I think this game heavily encourages you to mix up your resistances, to put on different sets, and of course, as you do so, you can see how it mixes and matches it. See, right now we're missing a poison, a shock and ion, a fire plasma entropy, and laceration plasma resist right there. So what can we do to put on some of that? Well, right here, this gives us the laceration and the poison, whereas this gives us the laceration and the poison as well. It has a higher value. We get some blunt out of this, and then we get some piercing out of this. Which one do we want more? We're just going to put these boots on there. Now, of course, that's not the only thing you need to take into consideration. You need to also take into consideration what it takes to repair it, which is listed down below. It says plastic, rusty metal, and armor plates. That's what it takes to repair these things. So that's very, very good. I think there's a chance you can also get those items when you disassemble them, which you can always right-click, disassemble. That's for in-raid. That's for later. You're going to want to disassemble a lot, especially weapons, as you're clearing maps and fighting. And then, yeah, now you got your overall resistances right there. But the last thing you want to take into account is that weight, guys. Once you have a look at that weight, you can see that your character has a set amount of weight. The higher your weight, which includes loot, because everything's got a weight value, the higher your weight, as you can see, the more calories you're consuming, the less your knockback chance is, or the higher your knockback resistance is, and the lower your dodge chance is. That matters, guys. So if you're going with a melee unit that's heavily reliant on dodge, you're not picking up a lot. And if you do, you're going to live in regret, because you're not going to be able to do the thing that you're supposed to do. So bear that in mind. Lastly, backpack. So you can see right here, the backpacks, they're great. They tell you, period dot, what they do. This right here, of course, has that inventory size of 6x4. We put this bad boy on. Holy guacamole. That is a huge backpack. You really won't get backpacks that big. In the game, these things are highly valuable. You're going to start with 2 of them. You're going to just have fun, guys. Just have fun. Just remember, every time you put something in here, you get heavier and heavier and heavier and it just hurts your chances. The calorie consumption is a really big one because when you start to starve, you start to die. So let's talk about that next. Meds and, of course, food. Now, these vests seem really tempting. You might really want to put your meds in there and think, oh, it's going to make it. No, you don't need your meds in your hot bar. It's not going to make them any better. You're going to totally right-click your character, med out. You're going to get a whole menu and screen for that. That's for another video, another talk. But you can see that food have different values. Of course, weights are in there too. This food right here gives plus 1,000 calories. Now, when you look at your guys, your clones, you're going to see that they're going to have an average, let's just say about 2,000 calories. Some have less, some have more. Each person is different. 1,000 is a ton. But this could be really useful. Bring in light and weight and carry. Do you want to bring a ton of food in the raid? Personally, I like to bring a few little ones, but you'll find food in raid. However, if you're completely reliant on finding food in raid, it's not going to be great. The real question is, are you going in light? Or are you going in with the aspiration of being heavy? Is it a farm run where you're going to try to loot everything and break everything down and get out with everything you can? Or are you going to go in and be just super efficient, hit the objective, and get the heck out of Dodge? If you're going in and getting the heck out of Dodge, bring you a little bit of food with you. You know, what you need to survive, get through the mission. It won't be a ton, but yeah. If you're going in and you're wanting to farm everything, you probably want to bring the heavy hitting foods that really produce the good calories and go from there. Bear in mind, of course, each food takes a slot in the inventory and it really gets to be a lot. Now the meds, that's a whole nother thing. When you look at the meds, you'll see that they have different effects. Just like your resistances, they treat each one specifically. Some do in tandem, like with a bunch of others, some don't. So we get the bandage right here. It will heal piercing attacks and lacerations. However, it will not heal any of the other damages. Of course, you can bandage and patch with those, but it's not going to do the job that it's meant to do. The splint, specifically for blunt damage. Will it stop a bleed? Will it help out on that? I mean, it'll help out. You get a regen. That's a period dot. But you need different meds for different situations. That's the point. Once again, go in, have fun, play, get rocked, learn about the game, do your thing. That's the biggest one about the meds that I really like, is that when you're playing, you're going to get a regen from these effects. Your health's going to drop, guys, and you're going to want that regen to go back up. You're going to want to get your health back up, which it will do naturally, but you can make it happen faster, and there's going to be times when you just absolutely need it to. So you're going to want to bring medicine to do so. Now, let's say you don't have any meds, because that's definitely a likelihood. We're going to disassemble this. We have a rag right here, guys. Now, this is your basic rag. You can literally farm up easily, 30 of these things in a single mission without any thought. A single rag stabilizes a wound for 8 turns. And then, of course, right there, you're looking at it. I know you're looking at it. Infection chance. You don't want infection, guys. Infection messes you up. It's a big deal. So make sure that you're only using this if you have to, but this is definitely a viable option. And does it offer any regen? No. But it will stop your pain and bleed and stop you from losing that health. Really, really useful when needed. Now, bear in mind, it's not just the rags. You can, of course, break down plastics and get the similar effect from that as well. I'm trying to look for a plastic to break down. Maybe I can't disassemble those. But regardless, plastics will work too. You name it. It's useful. Now, we could talk about smokes and things like that. Listen, you got Quasimorphosis and all these things in there. This is not the beginner game friendly. You're not worried about that. You're not going to Quasimorph. You're not trying to, at least I don't think. Maybe you are. But chances are, if you're watching this video and you're doing those things, you're not a beginner. So I'll just leave that alone and leave it at that. That's for a later time and discussion. So let's choose what meds we bring in here and decide. Of course, you want to divide. You don't want to bring all of it at once. Now, that's one thing I will say it's really good about this is that when you find something in raid, let's say you find a bandage in raid and it's got 1 use left. You already got a bandage here. They still will stack. It's so nice, guys. I love it. If you find a first aid kit, and these things right here have 6 uses, you will, let's say you find 1 with 3 uses and another one with 3 uses, and you stack them, they'll combine them, and it'll still just be the one, but at 6 uses now. I like that personally, and so I'm very appreciative of that. They've done a really good job of that in this game, and it is definitely a thing. So we got our bandages. We want to treat our laceration and piercing damage. We're going to want to take some splints because we want to treat the blunt damage. We're going to just bring 1. You know, I'll talk about damage and healing in another video, but if you take damage, you can analyze it, you can see what it is, and a lot of times you'll see right away if it's a major injury or a minor injury. If it's a major injury, you're going to need to treat it. If it's a minor injury, you just need to decide, is it important that I treat it and get HP back or nah? And if the answer is nah, then a lot of times it'll say self-healing, and you just leave it alone, and then it'll heal itself over a period of time. And then we're going to want some sorbent because, you know, in case that infection chance, of course you can get poisoned. You never know. It's always good to just be cautious and have that. Now, I do not bring in antibiotics normally at all, these kind of things. If you want, the first aid kit is super duper useful. You bring that in lieu of everything. Like it says, it stabilizes all wounds, period. This is a godsend. You're going to want to craft as many of these things as you can and bring as many of these things as you can, because this is really the end all be all. But if you're hurting and you're struggling to find them, you might not have access to them. So I feel you. I hear you on that. Otherwise, this is probably what your beginner loadout's going to look like. We're going to put those up, and then we'll just I'm grabbing all 4 of these because why not? Now, water bottles, guys. You can find water from toilets, from sinks, from, of course, water coolers, lots of different places. And as you can see, they have a +1 to regen, and it lasts for 10 turns. So you're basically getting 10 health back. It can seem really minor, guys, but I can tell you, there's been tons of times when it's just been absolutely useful. On top of that, it stacks with other effects. So it's really, really good. I don't think it stacks with its own effects as far as water, but it certainly stacks with other effects. So very, very good stuff right there. And then water has a whole nother use. And so I always like to have water on me, and that is to extinguish fires. Guys, if something sets you on fire, you're gonna die so fast. Simply having a water bottle in your inventory and right-clicking it and hitting extinguish, which of course that option is not here because we're not on fire, that is such a huge game changer. So water bottles are one thing that I like to bring on the mission. So look at this. Look at how much we've now have in our inventory, and we're just now going in. Look at our weight. Holy crap. That's tough. That's what I mean with this game. You gotta be careful, guys. You gotta be careful. And most backpacks are not 6x4. In fact, the backpack that you can craft, which we'll just bop right on over here and take a look at it. The backpack that you can craft appears to be the same. Oh, this says 6x4. But it's going to be a 6x2. I don't know what's going on with the 6x4 right here, but regardless, when I was playing mine, it was 6x2. Blah. Whatever. And then there's a 6x3, and then of course the best backpack that are available are 6x4, massive, and then have like servo arms, blah 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 blah. That's neither here nor there, but yeah, you're gonna have very limited space is what I'm getting at. So be aware. Be aware. Understand. Know. Yeah. Past that, each person gets access to different classes, and of course these have lots of things going on. In my opinion, these are the 2 classes you're going to only want to mess with at the beginning of the game as you're learning. Scouts of Hades, very generalized. Bonus physical resistance, minus the calorie consumption, close quarter combat bonus, extra AP when you take damage, bonus damage. And then, of course, you can see under each one there's a level. So they all level up and progress. You can even find items that level up and progress them. Bear in mind, when a clone dies, those levels go, you start fresh, the clone will reset. Of course, you clone them, and then you have access to that clone again, but the levels have reset at that point. And then each one of these skills also has a trigger activation that is required. And so this one has a crit chance of plus 50%. Killing activates the trigger. So you just kill something, you activate the trigger. Each trigger activation gives 2 XP, and that's towards the level, of course, which has 60. So there you go. You're going to need to activate this 30 times. And then activation costs 10 satiety, and then cooldown is 5 turns. And it's specifically used for SMG, shotguns, and assault rifles. So just take a time, read these things, take a look at them, see what they do, blah, blah, blah. That's very important stuff right there. And then, of course, there's implants. Guys, when you're starting the game, you're not messing with implants. You're not going to know what to do there. You can try to find them, tinker with them, play with them. But once you get a class that really benefits from having implants, and once you have multiple implants that can counteract each other, you're going to then want to mess with implants. Implants are pretty useful, pretty amazing, honestly. But early on, they're really, with just like 1 or 2, they can be pretty harmful. They come with a lot of defects, or debuffs, I want to say, that need to be offset by other buffs elsewhere, in my opinion. But that's me. Okay. And so now we understand all of that. We can take a look at our missions here, where we want to go, and decide, right? So we're not going to do this mission. We want to go somewhere else, okay? So let's take a look. I want to work for, let's just say, the Tianming. Okay, well, as I'm looking at the Tianming and I see all their missions they have available, there's a lot of information on our screen, which we've gone over all of it. The key that we need to pay attention to is at the bottom. This is new information. Time remaining, which time remains, and then time travel. So listen, you're in a ship and you're in space, guys. To get from one planet to another, one star or one astral body to another is what we want to say, it takes time. Time is a big factor in this game. You cannot get to these missions on time. Period. Dot. Where you're at right now, it's not going to happen. And so you have to go on to the next one and find the ones that count and will work for you. That's really, really big. And so as you can see right there, Twin Miller, Orbital City, this is way too far. It takes 177 days to get there. And we got 40 days to get there and do it. That ain't going to work. However, we got this one right here. Landskrona Center. 40 days to get it done. 16 days to get there. Beautiful. And as you saw, there's a times 250, so everything goes by like that. But the game is counting those minutes, seconds, and everything, and it really matters. With that said, let me just say, make sure you're looking at the missions you're going after. Pay attention to their difficulty, but more importantly, their concentration. And understand, the further you're going for the missions, the more time that passes by. These contracts are still rolling, guys. And these corporations will just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so if you come on down here and look at system map, you can see where you are. And then, of course, you can click around and see all the different other astral bodies and learn about them. Okay? This is a really big deal. Very, very nice. You want to make sure that you take a look around at what's close, and you want to really kind of just work off that and stick to those nearby areas. Now, you can see each one of these is a base, if you will, for each organization. And so that's a really big deal. Church of Revelation, Grasshopper Tech, Franche Comte, Daydream Chem. And so you can go there, you can sell your stuff and buy stuff. It's especially useful if you're trying to upgrade your ship and you're looking for things. It's very, very good. And it can be tedium too at the same time. With that said, guys, yeah, that's it in a nutshell as far as what you're getting, what you can do, and it's how you really need to pay attention to the game to get your start. This game is brutal. I can't say it enough. You're going to go in, you're going to get massacred. There's nothing wrong with that. Embrace it. Die in this game. Die often. Enjoy it. Learn from every single death. What could you have done better? And you will do better the next time around. Period. Dot. And then, of course, experiment with things. Check lots of different stuff out and see what you can do, what you can learn. And then, of course, yeah, you've got updates right here on all the different things that are going on in the system. I never really pay too much attention to this. Every once in a while, I'll take a glance at it, but for the most part, there's just a plethora of information. It's too much to keep up with. And yeah, that's the game, guys. To just get started and understand what you're looking at. It can be overwhelming. When you first start, you just get thrusted in, little to no explanation. Holy crap. So yeah, we're going to pick this mission. And then as we pick this mission, you can see right here, we have this mission screen. We have, of course, Unchained Belt, minus 10 reputation for doing this. 1,330 power, technology level 1. And then over here, we have Realware as the other, which is reputation of 10, power 1,420, 1 technology point. You can click change sides to change sides. This goes from an escort mission, and then you can switch over and it comes an elimination mission. Just choose which one you want to support. You can work for different factions and do the different things. You're going to click down here. You're going to pick your operator. We already got one set up right here. He's a rookie in rank. No implants. We can select a class. We're just going to select class Hades right there, and boom. Now you have everything you need, and of course you can go through and read and see what's going on. And yeah, you're going to click start mission, and it's going to take you in, and you're going to be starting that bad boy. Of course, pay attention to Jane. She gives you a good little rundown. If you eliminate the target, come back. Try not to get too distracted exploring. It's not your priority. She gives you a good little rundown on what's going on. Usually it's really worth reading anything she has to say. Then you're going to be flown in. Now, this is deceptive. It looks like you get a nice look around when you land. Ignore that. It is not accurate information. As you can see, this map is totally different from what we just saw when we landed. See that? So anyways, now we're here. You can take a look. You can hit that M, and you can see everything that's out there. Nothing wrong with that. Trying to take a look at it. You can click, and it will jump to that spot on there. But you have, of course, a progressive fog of war. If you right-click, you can turn different ways and see what's going on there. And it does not cost an action point to do so. That's huge, guys. Right down here, you have your walk and stuff, and then you have the little bars underneath. Those are your action points. If you're normal walking phase, it shows you your calorie consumption right there. It's 1, and then of course it costs. You have 2 action points, and each step you take costs a action point. Understand, once your turn is done and you hit 0, the enemies all on the map take their action. So everywhere on the map, those enemies just took an action. Bear that in mind. Now right here, Quasimorph phase. I don't know, we're going to talk about this right now. Just pay attention to this down here, guys. It's going to grow in number, and you're going to want to get out before the number gets too high. If the number gets too high, crazy stuff starts happening. Guys start exploding, and the Quasimorphs was basically like demons. And then, yeah, if the number gets even higher, a Baron will spawn and come hunt you down. It's a miserable existence. They have far more action points than you. You will not be ready for this for a long time, especially if you're this far in this video. All right, so if you look around, you can see on this map you have different highlighting squares, pixels. These obviously are lootables. Of course, if you find the objective, it will be on there too. And then if you have that data miner, really helps out. You can see other things, and then the enemy will be in red. Okay, so we got some chests right here. We can loot it. Oh, we got a welding machine. We just use one of those to upgrade our base. And then, oh, we have an ear. We're not going to mess with that. It's a human organ with essence on it. You know, for Shawa, I probably said the name wrong. Regardless, we're not going to mess with it. That's your loot tables. That's looting. Now, movement. Back to the action points. You can shift it with Z and X, respectively, and you can turn it into a run, which run costs, you know, you have 3 action points, but you're using 9 calories on this. So of course, that will vary. Overall accuracy is 75%, so that's a quarter debuff to your accuracy. And then your inventory actions are not available. So when you're running, you can't open doors, you can't loot boxes and things like that, but you're getting 3 action points compared to your opponents. Also bear in mind that if you click, so you can see that's 4 tiles, but I have 1 action point. You're committing when you click this. So when you click that and they say there's an enemy nearby, be cautious because you're going to take that 1 action and then the enemy is going to act. So just bear that in mind. So if let's say you have 3 action points and you want to move all 3 of them, but you only have 2 action points and you click it, game's still going to try, guys, and the enemy's going to act. So be aware of that. All right, so next is the sneak. Sneak, you get 1 action point per round. So you move, your enemy gets to spend, usually there are 3 action points because most of the time they're running, especially their engagement, versus your 1. So this is limited use, guys. You're not going to want to be in a fight sneaking. You don't necessarily want to be in a fight running unless you're melee. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still pretty useful. And you get a bonus. I mean, you get a negative to your accuracy. You'll find your happy medium. But sneaking is really good for when you get close to doors and you can listen. And it'll show a nice little red silhouette and tell you there's an enemy nearby. Very, very useful stuff. Of course, you've got your health right here. Down here is your satiety level. That's your calorie count. And then you have your pain threshold, guys. And of course, that matters. You can get really messed up and it really puts you in a bad way. And then you got your health monitor. So here it is. You've got your air, which I haven't seen too much difference in this. As you get into missions, you will. The air starts to become an issue. You have your health. You got your pain threshold, which is up to 12 on this character. You got your fullness regeneration. And then you've got 2 HP per turn right there. We also came in this mission with the wrong ammo. I'm just realizing. Pistol ammo with our shotgun. Anyways, I'm just here to show you. Regardless, yeah. So we're going to take a look right here. You got that mini map where you can just press M. You've got mission control, which you can talk to her. And of course, Jane will give you some information. You can click evacuate. A lot of times she'll tell you no. Yeah, at least we got the biomaterial. And so a lot of times evacuation will not be an option. No matter what, when you evacuate, you need an elevator. You got to find an elevator, so you're going to be doing at least that much. And then anything that's in that fog of war, you cannot see, period. So here we go. We're gonna progress through here, and I'm going to show you this mission, just kind of exploring. Now, I'm going to play a little recklessly. We got a primitive workbench right there. Make sure you're reading. It's not really worth your time to look at a workbench if you have no material, but I'll show you. You can find these on the level. This will allow you to craft different things. Look at this bag size, 6x6. That's a massive amount of loot. Maybe I'm missing something. I think something just changed. I don't know, regardless. Anyways, here we go. There's an enemy right there. So you see, we have 1 action point. They are unaware right now. You can right-click them, and you can see what they got. This is a low difficulty mission, guys. So all the enemies are going to be fairly weak and inconsequential. There's a whole map of what enemies have and what they offer per tier of difficulty, and that's not denoted by skulls. That's by concentration. Just be aware of that. So when we look at it, we can see what they got. This is a big deal. This is a turn-based game, so make sure you take your time and analyze. This person's barehanded. They have no augments. Their speed is very slow. So they really can't do anything right now. They're not even running. They're doing anything right now. So take our shot. Now, we made noise. This guy's got a question mark over his head. He's like, what was that sound? So we also saw that they took their action. We see that we can now loot this body. And we saw that this person took a move over because it was their action because our round ended. We can see, we can shoot, and we'll break through this glass. That's why we're able to see him. But this glass is in the way. We can shoot him, but first we want to right-click him and look at what they got going on. So this is a Freeman. You can see right here, he's got some stuff on. You'll get access to all of that. He has no mods. He's investigating because he doesn't know, hey, what was that sound? What's going on? We have a pretty good chance to hit him. We won't kill him in one shot from what we can see. However, there's quite a bit of RNG in all of this, so let's see what happens. So now we shot him. That hurt. He knows about us now. He's not questioning anything. He got messed up pretty bad. Let's take a look. How bad? Well, he is bleeding. He's got damage per AP used, 2 right there from that. And then this says self. There it is. Self-healing. It's just a scratch of a laceration. And of course, he's not going to take any damage from that. However, this is going to create damage. Not only has he got pain, it drops his accuracy. It messes up the shots, and he's got scatter. It's already setting infection at that 1%. And yeah, Pretty nasty stuff right there. So we don't have to shoot him again. You see that sliver of health he's got? This guy's going to die. So we can spend our remaining action stepping to the side because he's going to try to walk to us. And so that's our action. Now, we can press Z and listen. Do we see him? No. Here's a big one. You can skip your action too. Press spacebar. You can always hotkey it to something else if you don't like to jam that all the time. And then boom. Now we can hear. So we don't hear anything in there, but we have a red silhouette right here. We have to walk all the way around these stalagmite or whatever in order to get there. We know something's there. Well, we're only using one action right now because we're sneaking. We don't want to do that. Chances are they don't know about us being here, but we don't want to go into a fight with one action. You'll see in a little bit when we open doors. You don't want to open doors with only one action point. You'll live in regret, I promise. All right, so now we're back up to walking. If we want to shift to running, we can. And so we're going to run here. Oh, they see us. We have 2 action points. We can right-click and see what they got going on. They've got a knife. They're going to want to get close. We take our shot. And then we're going to go back down to walking. As you can see, because we started the round with an action, as in a speed, we chose to run. We went from sneaking to running all in that one round. We've committed action points to the run, so now we can't just come out of the run and start sneaking. So now you see this little symbol right here showing that we're transitioning to a walk, so we're slowing down. So we're going to round this corner. Now we're walking again, okay? We don't see any enemies. We got to look behind us, make sure there's nothing there. Look, looky-loo as best we can. We don't see anything. Let's go ahead and sneak again. I don't hear anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stand back up. And let's check the bodies. So now, free woman corpse, and then, of course, there's a random rib on the ground because apparently we shot the fire out of him. So, yeah. Now you take a look at the armor. This does a really good job of comparing everything. You can see right down here, it shows what you have on to the right, and then versus what's on the left and what you have access to. And so this is not better. We don't really want this. We don't really need a knife, but we want a knife because it'll allow us to cut out implants and things that we find just in case. And plus, it's good to have a backup option, especially when you bring the wrong ammo for your gun. These things will happen. And so the rest of this, though, is not really useful. However, your opponents will walk around and pick up stuff. Just know that. They will, especially weapons. So if they don't have a weapon, they'll pick one up. And so you want to right-click and disassemble. And you'll be able to break that down. Now, there is a nice button right here, disassemble everything. We click it, and it will automatically pick it up too and put it in your inventory. It takes an action point, but it happens. It's done. Move over to the next one, disassemble everything. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't take an action point to do that. My bad. But regardless, there it is. We've now looted everything. We backed out. That's our action point. Messing around this inventory. And then let's go investigate that other guy that we killed. So we have one action point. If you open the door, it costs our action point. And then the enemies will see us if they're inside, and they'll get their round basically to attack us for free. Being right here on the corner does not give us great cover. It gives us only minuscule cover. So if they get an angle on us, it's going to basically be treated as if we have next to no cover. It's a peek, but not a covered peek. Whereas if we shoot through this, that stalagmite reduces actually by 50% because it is cover. Got me? It's really, really nice. So, we just shot there. We didn't need to, regardless. I just wasted some of my precious ammo. We open the door. Now we have one action point. We don't see anything. We take a look around. Let's step in. Boom. New round. It's clear. We're going to go ahead and move over here. Let's check out old boy. He's got some toilet paper. Paper towels, sorry. And so this can be used for meds. Really, really good. We don't really want any of this stuff. We're just going to break it all down. More stuff to bring back. Bear in mind our weight is only increasing. Check this trash can. Oh, yeah. Get the sneak pick. Woo. Now, this is rotten food. It will refill your calories, but it is rotten. So we don't want that. Maybe you will. If you're desperate and you need the calories, you know, hard times. You got to do what you got to do. So we got some sorbent here. Boom, it stacks nicely. This right here. We got 2. We got a half. Just add it to that. Boom. Look at that. You see the bar down at the bottom? The system in this, the inventory system is so nice in this. I love it. It's so great. I absolutely love it. I'm thoroughly tickled with this game. It's so good. And bear in mind, see how we're in the door? If something's blocking the door, whether it be an item or a corpse or a person, that door will not shut. Now, if a door's shut, let's see. We shut the door. If a door is shut and you know something's on the other side and you want them to come out, you can literally hold F and you can attack it. Let's press S and switch weapons here, actually. No? I'm not going to switch weapons. It's fine. Oh, I need to cancel. Sorry. Anyways, now press S. We switch what? Let's attack. Wait. No, you don't want to. Anyways, you're going to be able to shoot doors and things like that, make noise, and force enemies to come out. It's really, really useful. It's really nice. So, let's progress on. We're going to give our actions. We want to make sure we don't go into corners. We're being a little reckless. It's because this mission's so easy. It looks like this way is blocked, but you can move diagonally, so you'll be able to go through that. Alright, we got a door here. I have one action point. I'm going to hit spacebar and wait. Now I'm going to open. I don't see anything. I'm going to wait again. I don't see anything. We step in. There's our elevator, guys. Nice. Okay. Got an employee card. Workman uniform. We can disassemble that. Alright, memory record. So this is going to give us perk XP 300 of it, I guess. Pretty nice stuff right there. These are also used to upgrade your ship in different ways. And yeah, there's some water. Now, we have a choice. We clearly did not explore everything. We got nothing. We didn't get nothing. We didn't explore everything. You can go back and you can keep exploring, guys. A lot of times, this Quasimorph number keeps jumping. It's not. Here, we don't have any activity, so we're good to just keep on doing what we want. And I would highly suggest you play on planets that don't have great activity or no activity, which I believe Mars has no activity. I have to look at it, but regardless, move on down to floor 2. You could have evacuated right there. We did ask for the evacuation. We're just going to keep on rolling. First thing I like to do is look around. So we got some pretty decent cover right here, but not a lot happening. We open the door. We did it with 1 AP because we're being reckless. Sorry. Bad example. We see we have good cover here. We can, of course, scroll off screen and look around. And then, yeah, we don't see anything, so. Oh my, that is why you need an action point to open something. Look at that. Holy guacamole. Let's go ahead and have some fun. Let's just send a grenade in there. Oh, it's glass. Okay, we can't send our grenade in there. That's so unfortunate. So, close that door. Now, we hear a door opening. I guarantee you they're on their way. We're going to sneak. Oh, yep, here they come. Because we committed our action with a sneak, we have to wait until next round in order to be out of sneak mode. So we can see what they've done. We see where they are. They will try to shoot us through the glass. They won't think twice about it. I think that's what we're going to have to do is just fight them like that. Alright. I would like to break that glass so we can just throw a grenade through there. We did not get the break. We have 3 more rounds, and then we're SOL. These guys have guns. So it looks like they're beating the glass, maybe? Oh, this guy's nice and close. We're going to step right here. Now, look, he's close. We're injured. That's fine. Jane, of course, is going to tell us about it. We're going to switch weapons. We're just going to stab him out. So let's read about the damage. We have a laceration. We're going to lose 1 damage per turn and 1 damage per AP. However, we're going to treat that laceration. So we're going to go right here. You can use a bandage. You can use a rag. You can name it whatever you want. We have 2 different lacerations. This one right here is self-healing. It doesn't require anything. We're not losing any HP. So we just leave it alone. Whereas this one This one's messing us up, man. It's messed up our vision, our accuracy. We got a chance to even vomit because it's head trauma. Like, it's bad. So we're going to right-click the bandage. We're going to click on our head, and boom. Now, not only are we getting HP back, but we're also stop the bleeding, if you will. Now, they're going to approach us. They can't go through the glass. While they're approaching us, we get some of this precious loot. Oh, man. That's our ammo. Very nice. Now, I have a stack of pistol ammo. I don't really want a pistol. Maybe I do, actually. Let's do that. We're changing equipment. Let's just go ahead and grab this. We can compare and match and look. And so overall, the quality of these boots aren't the worst, but they give us more resistance by 1 point. And they give us different kinds of resistance. This will give us ice and radiation. We don't need that, so we're pretty good just to break all of this down. And so I do. I'm not really a big fan of carrying all these weapons and stuff. You know, if it's something really that I like, sure. But having a bunch of weapons takes up your inventory fast because most weapons take 2 slots. Alright, so Manipulator. Melee damage plus 10, throw range plus 1, max health minus 5, and ranged accuracy minus 10. And then we got right here the Sensor. This is pretty good right here. I like this usually. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm looking at it. No, I'm good. I don't like the Sensor. It's not great. We don't want to cut any of these things out. However, if we have the knife in our hand, we'd be able to do so by right-clicking and then clicking to cut them out. So we picked up a new gun. It's now in our inventory. It's got quite a few things going on. So the backup gun, it's knockback, culminator. It's got a lot, all right? So we can, of course, hit Alt, and we can read about all these things and what they do. Culminator is damage, reduces damage, fall off by 10% as it goes further. Knockback, of course, has a chance to knock people back. Back up this weapons passively grants plus 8% to critical hit chance with other equipped weapons. That's really good. And then a silencer. You can mod guns later, by the way. Just know that. Silencer enemies don't notice shots unless they were hit. And then damage fall off. You can see right there past 4 tiles. It steeply falls off all the way to 9. And then just ain't doing nothing. Now, we only have 3 shots. You can see right here. So we want to press R to reload. Of course, we have a single fire and a burst fire mode. We're not going to burst much with only 3 shots. So we're going to hit this reload. Now, most pistols, when you hit reload, you're changing a clip or a magazine. And so you're going to be hard reloading for that amount of actions. And so we're going to go through another one. Boom. It's now reloaded. We're ready. We got 7 shots. Switch weapons. Now this shotgun, I don't believe is magazine fed. So we're going to literally hit reload. Oh, no, this one is magazine fed. Sorry, guys. It's not one of the good ones. You're hard locked into that reload. So now we're waiting. We can't do anything. We have to wait for the actions to go by, and then we got the reload. That can be really dangerous. I like individually fed shotguns. This is not one of them. This thing is actually, it says right there, reloading 4 AP. I should have paid more attention. But regardless, yeah. So now I want to walk into this spot. Okay? No, I don't. I hit space, let the time pass. He shot us. Didn't really do anything. He's point blank, and we got a shotgun. You know what happens? Oh, we got some XP on our close quarter specialist. Fire transfer. So now we're doing extra damage. I want to step into this spot, but there's a corpse there. And if I click on this spot, it opens an inventory, guys. That's not good. I'm going to take all this. We'll manage this real quick. So what I want to do to manage that is I'm going to take his helmet first because that's a big improvement. Pants, yeah. Pants are a big improvement. We'll take that too. Sorry, guys. Lady D. This vest right here only has 1 slot, but the resistances are much higher. So we'll take that too. We'll keep this vest for now. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. We're going to just break this all down. And then the extra falls to the ground. We already got a stack of 20 rags. What'd I tell you? Already got a stack of 20 rags, bro. Already. Pathfinder vest. We can trade that out and start stacking this metal. We get out of the inventory. Oh, another guy comes. Bazinga. My point is, I want to step there, but I can't. I'm going to hit control and then click there. As it shows right there, of course. Now, we got a serious wound because we walked into an enemy. We already know they're coming. You don't want to walk into something unless you know it's clear. We knew they were coming. I just wanted to make it a point and show you that. But regardless, we stepped into it. They're there. So we now have an infection. We now have a fracture. This one is not self-healing. It's doing damage over time where they beat us. We're going to take our 2 shots. Do we see anything? I don't think we do. We got a blinking notification here. This is probably because we completed a mission. Let's see. Find the elevator and get upstairs. We'll pick you up there. Yeah. Pretty sure we did. We completed it. However, yes. So control click in order to move when you're not already in the same spot. Also, a really fun little tidbit, guys. When you hold a choke point like this, or a peak, and they're coming, and you just keep killing them, this literally will turn into a pile of corpses. It is insane. I absolutely love it. The detail in this game is so good. It's so fun. It's great. It's phenomenal. Let's go ahead and just break all that down. Now you notice we broke down a weapon and ammo. That is real. Let's go ahead and eat this so we have more inventory space. Now our calories are getting back up. We're not worried about that. We're going to go through. Look right here. We broke down the ammo and it turned into gunpowder. That's universal, guys. That's really useful. We can take that back to the ship and we can craft ammo. So really, really good to do so. I like it a lot. I don't really care about this knife. I'm not really looking for implants because it's early game. I'm telling you, I don't think you're really going to want to utilize it early game. So that's what we're going to do. We do need to stockpile some rags. But look at all the stuff we're carrying. Our dodge chance has gotten twice as bad as what it was. It was minus, I think, 17 at the start of the mission. Now it's minus 34%. Holy crap. Be aware. Fortunately, this guy's a hoss. He doesn't really dodge anyways. Now you're just going to go through and loot and grab whatever you can. This person's literally got a drill for an arm. Which that explains why they hurt us so badly when they hit us. Just go ahead and break all that down. They had an upper actuator. We're not worried about that. Oh, that's right. We've got some things we need to tend. So we'll definitely tend that laceration. Nope, we won't. It's self-healing. We will use the splint to tend our fracture. And then, did I not bring any sorbent? I might have messed up here. Yeah, I do. We'll eat that. Alright, so now we're gooch. Let's move on down. As you can see, we're gaining our health back. Here we go. This dude's got an assault rifle. And he's basically got a shotgun pistol. This guy was a hoss. I want his ammo. This is naloxone. This gets rid of like alcoholism and drug addictions. We don't really need this. It's cool to see and to have. We'll go ahead and disassemble all that pistol ammo and take that. I do want this assault rifle. I like assault rifles, pretty tough. We cannot make 7.97. I've said earlier in the video that you couldn't make .45s or whatever, but this is the ammo you actually can't craft to start a game. So I covet this. I really like the assault rifles. Moving on along, let's see. We're going to ditch a few things. I don't really craft melee weapons early game. I'm able to find so many of them. And we're going to pick up that assault rifle. The rest of this, we're just going to break down. And then, of course, now we're carrying all that loot. Man, we're just getting heavier and heavier, though. Alright. Is there anything to loot in here? I don't see it. It's an empty shelf. You can see, when you look at the shelves, if there's nothing on them and the box looks open, there's nothing in them, guys. So there's no point in looting them. Let's walk on by. Looks like our fracture is back to hurting us again. So we're going to want to click that health monitor. We're going to use the splint again on that fracture. And hopefully it heals soon. Let's see. Heal chance. Yeah. Boom. It just healed. Perfect. Okay. Now we know we've cleared all this. Now we have to be careful. You can see right here when we walk through blood, we're trailing it. We don't know what's out here. Something could be coming down that hall. So let's sneak. There, sure enough, there's something in the hall. Which is what I was fearful of. And we're not going to hit them and do anything meaningful. Let's go ahead and switch to our pistol and just chunk them. Now we're behind cover and they're not. So we have a huge advantage. They have to get all the way here to get to cover. So we can see already they've got a pistol. They're wearing regular clothes. They're defending is activity. We've already messed them up, but we haven't messed them up much. We're not doing enough damage. They stepped closer, which works to our advantage. We can right-click again and see. We hit him in the chest again. We have a contusion. It's blunt. It's not doing any damage over time, though. So, boom, another shot. We're going to go ahead and reload. As we're reloading, you can move. We just can't take action. Someone's investigating the sound. We jump behind cover and pop our shot. Here they come. That person's like, what the heck was that? We missed. We shot the wall. By the way, you can destroy walls. If someone's holding this peak and you're having a hard time with them, shoot the wall and destroy it if you've got the ammo. Just throwing that out there. Yep. So we hit them pretty hard with that. But no bleed. Another shot. They're dead. What's this guy got? Looks like he's got something different. Oh, no. It's just a pipe. Okay. 2 more shots. Oh, he's crying. We're going to use ammo. Yeah. We know, Jane. Alright, so we're out of ammo. We switched weapons. On to the shotgun. Now, is there someone there? Can we step forward? If we step forward, we lose our cover. We also haven't looked behind us. Fortunately, we know everything that's behind us is sealed. All corners have been explored, so we have nothing to worry about. So, we can literally just hit spacebar. Did anything come? No. We hit it again. Nothing came. So, we're going to start to reload. Nothing's come. Nothing's come. We're reloaded. Switch back to the shotty. Start stepping. And we do our thing. We get to looting. Pretty good stuff, yeah? This dude's got some noodles for us. Gladly eat that. Black caviar, bro. Got the good stuff, huh? I ain't really worried about food like that. But I'll take your black caviar. Just on principle. Just on principle, bro. Thanks. So now you see he's in the doorway. The door can't close. It gives a nice little animation showing it's trying. Okay. So, I'm just going to break all this down. Remember, if you leave weapons, enemies can come and pick them up. Just keep chopping it up. We can see some body parts, some things we've shot off. That happens. We did that. And then just break it all down because gunpowder stacks up to 100. Alright. Now, we have a door here. So there's some sinks. There's going to be a toilet around the corner. Like I said, there's water. We're not going to loot all that. We know it's there. We can look. We can see. We did complete the mission, so I'm just taking a look real quick. I just want to show you a few things. So, like I said, you can find food in Raid. Boom. This is a vending machine. You'll find them all the time and everywhere. Very good stuff. This is also a key way to get cans, things like that you need for certain crafts. You will need cans for crafts. And so, like, you see this drink. You drink it. You get a nice regen. It gives you your fullness. Sodas are pretty dope in this game, in my opinion. And so, very, very good stuff right there. And yeah, this is it. Like, we'll just go ahead. We earned that. We're drinking that. And there's our can that's left behind. It can be used to craft. Hey, babe. Bye, babe. Alright, we step forward. Here's another vending machine. What's this one got? This one's got a pack of smokes already been smoked. Who did this? Yeah, and some chips. Alright, assault rifle. We got a knife maker so we can repair something if we need it. Not needed though. Cecil got some pretty decent loot. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm not going to mess with it too much. So you get the gist, guys. And then, of course, like I said, there's a whole map to explore. Let's just go ahead and get on out of here. So we've already hit all this. There's a good chance you can see when we come in this room. This is the last thing I want to hit for you and talk about. When you come into this room, you got to think in every room and every threshold you cross, how dangerous is it? You've made noise. People can be coming to investigate and come and check it out. So if we were to hold this peak, everybody's forced into this door. So that is nice. And our flank is covered. However, if you come in here and you find that someone walks out right here and you're stuck fighting them, the second you start shooting from this peak at them, and you make noise here without exploring this, because we haven't hit that door, someone can come from behind, and you won't know about them. You'll get caught up in your engagement, and then you have to literally click and look, and a lot of times we forget to do that. It's a big deal, and you're totally flanked and exposed. Moreover, right here to your left is another flank. Someone opens that door, and boom, you're exposed. You have no cover. You're not going to get out of the way. You're going to eat damage. This is how people die all the time. It's real. And so that's something to bear in mind. It's a big deal, guys. Now, let's say you choose this corner. Now you've got cover. You're able to shoot two ways, but this way, you're still getting hard flanked. Moreover, when you damage things as cover, there's lots of different stations, there's lots of different lootables. When you damage things, they stop functioning. So let's say you find a nice med bed that can heal everything and you're wanting to take care of it. If you use it as cover and it takes damage, you will not be able to use it anymore. It's damaged. So yeah, something to bear in mind and think about. And then of course, like I was saying, like a door, you don't want to mess with the door. Maybe you know there's someone on the other side and you want them to come to you. You literally just hit that shift, shoot the door. Now, a damaged door usually doesn't open. I didn't mean to hit E. Yeah. Let's switch back. Now, see, a damaged door doesn't open, so now they have to break it. But if you just shoot it once, it shouldn't get that broken. I didn't realize I had burst mode on. So we're going to hit this again. Let's do this. So we damaged the door, but we didn't break it. That's like knocking. And now they're going to come and investigate and see what's going on. You can just sit here and hold your peek and then clear them out as they come. It's super duper great. All right, so we're getting out of here. Remember, you can't open doors while running. Boom. And then evacuate. That's it. Mission complete. So that's a general rundown of how to play. Do a mission in general. And of course, once you're done, you get a nice little breakdown of everything. They talk about it. Like, oh, yep, this is what happened. Here's your rewards, which they gave us a bunch of bombs. Star, it's a Tarkov reference. And then we got right here, we got a basic item chip. This unlocks the builder. It's industrial nail gun plus 9mm nails. This is a really good thing. You want to unlock as many crafting chips, item chips as possible. That way you're able to craft and make your own things. And you'll be surprised how useful some of this stuff is, like a nail gun, the saw blades. There's guns that shoot saw blades. Man, that thing just outright amputates. And getting your character amputated, like having their arm shot off mid-mission, is jarring. It's unbelievable. Now, the best part about this isn't the rewards, in my opinion. Well, that is a really big deal. But it's the summary of what's going to happen between the two factions. And so now the Unchained Belt get plus 54 power, and then you gained 11.52 reputation with them. However, RealWare now has a trade break, which means they're not going to mess with us. They've lost 114 power, and we've lost 11.52 reputation. And so now when we fight Unchained Belt, they're going to be that much more powerful. Is 54 points a ton? No, but if you keep doing the missions, you got me? Like, you'll go into missions that are low in skull value, but they'll have high concentration, and you'll fight like elite units, and it gets crazy fast. So be aware of that. And of course, we're here. You can just hit unload all. It's up to you. Do what you want. Play it however you want. That's a quick and simple and easy way to do it. And then you click finish mission, and boom, you're back here again, and you're deciding what you want to do next. So, guys, I hope this is useful. I hope I'm not too erratic. I'm sorry, my addled ADD mind gets the better of me sometimes. Hopefully this gives you some meaningful perspective on how to play the game and to get progressed and get going and to do some things. There's lots of wonderful content out there, so make sure you go check out anything and everything. If you need more help, drop down in the comments, talk about it. The community on this channel has been pretty phenomenal, so I'm sure there'll be lots of people glad to help you with that as well. Get at us about it, guys. We're here for you. If you like what we're doing, drop a like and subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support the channel. Make sure you check out my playthrough for Quasimorph. I am absolutely starting it and going to launch it. I am not a veteran player. I've been playing for quite a while, about 40 hours, 50 hours, but not a veteran yet. I'm learning a lot. You can explore and learn with me by checking out that playthrough video. I'll have the link down in the description. When I start that, which will be very soon, not at the time of this upload, but soon after. And with that said, huge shout out and thank you to our soldiers. You guys and gals are the ones that keep the content rolling, me going, and everything flowing. I am so grateful for y'all. Thank you so much. And until next time, I will catch you later. Bye.